It's me. 5 free plugins that I use regularly. Yep. Okay, here we go. This one's pretty straightforward, so let's just get to it. I'm going to try to avoid the ones you've seen a million times. Soft tube saturator, you've seen a million times. Camel crusher, although it's amazing. You should get it if you don't have it. This first one you probably have seen, but people don't really go into it. So I'm going to go into it just a little bit. It's super handy. It's called the TDR Nova. So let's just pull that up. The Nova is it's an EQ. It's a free EQ. It's an amazing EQ because it uses a parallel process. I'm not going to try to go into it too deep, but it uses a parallel process instead of the typical process. So it's really transparent. And the coolest thing about it is not so much that it's a transparent EQ that's free. That's already pretty awesome. Is that it's a dynamic EQ. So in the case of these snaps, let's say here, I'll show you the spectral analyzer is off by default to encourage you to use your ears, which I like. We'll turn it on. So let's say in this scenario, I wanted to get rid of some of the high ends of these snaps. You have a couple of different options with your typical EQ setup. You're familiar with this setup. You can low pass it and just EQ filter the highs out. You can also EQ them out by just taking this high shelf, the typical way. But what makes this EQ special, and other EQs have this feature, but not free ones, is that you can, instead of just filtering things out, you can, or EQing them out, you could get rid of them in a dynamic type way. Struggled through that sentence. Okay, so we're serving the same function here. We want to get rid of some of that high end, but instead we can use compression, bring the threshold down, and boom. The interesting thing about it is it gets rid of what you want to get rid of in a even more transparent way. If you set it that way, you can also set it so that it's kind of doing some compression. So if you open up the attack, you can actually kind of add snap to just the upper frequencies while also kind of attenuating them. Here, I'll go crazy. Here, if we we'll put it somewhere where you can actually hear it. So you can hear we're adding snap to the snap, but now we can take away snap. Change the release setting to really squash it or to really, really hold on to it. It just gives you so many more options. Here, we'll put a new one on. I'm not sure exactly how to just reset it. But yeah, here's a more realistic type situation. If you wanted to tame these snaps into your song. So yeah, the TDR Nova, super handy, super useful, pro level stuff for free. So, and it also takes a sidechain input, which is crazy. So let's say here real quick, we'll solo this guy, put a Nova over here. And let's say I wanted the snaps and this vocal
you can change it
to interact in such a way that I want the vocal to duck out to make room for the snap. Sure. I can send the parallel signal out to the Nova. That input there. Then you can turn on the external sidechain. You can visually monitor it.
You can change it.
There's that snap. And then you can find the frequency.
You can change it.
the frequency you want to attenuate. Just making sure my headphones were turned down. Okay, anyway.
You can change it.
And then boom, it's pumping to the snap.
You can change it if you can change it.
I mean, come on now with that. For free? And the filters sound amazing. It's great. Oh,
you can change it.
When you bypass it too, it has
you can change.
What is the word I'm looking for? Gain compensation, automatic gain compensation.
You can change it. You can change it.
So you don't get tricked by the volume changing and making it sound like your EQ move was stellar. Yeah, TDR Nova. Get it. Okay, next up we have the Crush by Tridic. Crush with a K. This is a super handy bit crusher. Love it. Sounds amazing, and it's handy because it has this built-in filter, because you always need to tame that bit reduction, that bit crushing. Here's this pad. Here, I'll show you. It adds that crunch in the high end. So if you need something to be distorted in such a way that it cuts through in the mix, that's when you reach for the bit crusher. I never use these, but it has a driver. I'm sure this is a distortion, just regular type distortion, maybe tube or something, a crusher, and then you can modulate, but I really just use the bit crusher. I love bit crushing, and it runs in parallel. So you still keep the dry signal and you add to it the wet signal. Tridic, Crush, yes. Okay, the next one on the list is by X for Records. You are familiar with them for making Serum and for the one that everyone always recommends, which is the OTT. But today I'm going to recommend, because I don't see this recommended enough, is the Dimension Expander. Also free. It does we'll go back to this vocal thing. It does a kind of very short reverb or slap delay type thing.
You can change it. You can change it if you can change it. You can change it. You can change it.
So yeah, you can add some space to, like, in this case, a vocal, and not push it back like a reverb would do. So Dimension Expander, it's super simple too. You can make it bigger.
You can change it. You can change.
You can make it subtle, of course.
You can change it.
You can barely feel it there.
You can change it if you.
Super handy. Dimension Expander. Yes. Next up, we have kind of a quirky one. This one is by Ohm Force. It's called Fromage. I know I'm going to spell this wrong, not because I don't know how to spell fromage, but because, it's that H. It's from, like ohm. Fromage. Funny. Okay. Fromage is obviously cheese in French. Okay. Because it's kind of a cheesy, weird plugin, probably. It's a filter unit that's not your straightforward filter unit. I have this guitar, right? And then I'll add the Fromage. This is like a low pass. They're not really it's not really marked clearly. I don't know. You kind of, and you choose which filter here. There's like 8 different kind of modes. Here, I'm actually going to remote control this with my, there we go, with my MIDI controller. So here, I'll just go through them. This does like a low pass type thing. Can I add some gain? There we go. I guess that's gain, master out, I don't know. It moves on its own, by the way, when you click on a setting, it moves. It's kind of fun. To make the setting, I guess. This is like a... Here, I'll turn this down so it's not distorting. Like a low pass with like a phaser type thing. They're all kind of different. High pass. But they're not your typical filters. They have extra character to them. They sound really cool in songs. And yeah. It's kind of a more straightforward high pass. It has like a phaseriness to it and like a notch filter. You could see this going crazy if you... I'm curious now. My interest has been piqued. If I were to get all LFO-y with that. How quickly can he do it? Can he do it quickly? Probably not, because he's never done it before. Modulation in. Modulation. Yeah, CV1, learn. This guy. Oh, he can do it. Here, let's keep this open. You can change the bass setting here. I'm having fun. Are you having fun? Fromage. And for the last one on the list, my favorite one. Check this one out. Dun 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 dun. Boom. A new combinator for y'all. This is the Quasar Stereo Slapper. Get slapped. You're into it. Okay, so this is a stereo slap delay. Something that Reason just didn't have. Ready, handy and ready to go. So I made one for you. You can grab it from the download section on my website along with a bunch of other stuff. I've been making these as I've been going, and they're handy and they're ready to go for you to get. So go to djquasar.com and hit the download section. You get it. Anyway, this is the slapper. I'm going to bypass it for now and play this vocal for you.
You can change it. You can change it if you...
And let's put it in.
You can change it.
Ooh. Let's bring it in the way I would bring it in.
You can change it.
The time portion is already it's already been calibrated. It's not the word I want to use, but you're not going to pick a wrong time. I've narrowed the field of how far this is going to go to be good times. To be good slap delay times. I'm struggling through that sentence, but I think you get what I mean.
You can change it. You can change it if you...
So that's the left, and then we bring this in.
You can change it.
At a slightly different time.
You can change it if you...
And you're slap delaying.
You can change...
Again, it serves the same purpose as the one I showed you earlier, the dimension expander. However, that one's mono, and this is stereo. So yes, it's a little bit better. Actually, they just sound different. Here, I'll show you, actually, really quick, if I can just... How quickly can he wire it up? If I just do that, and then throw a dimension expander on as well. And, oh, there's this cool little dealio right here. I can just A-B those bad boys. So let's run this out to here. We got to get the dimension expander on channel 2. And the slapper on channel 1. We'll set this to an A-B type situation. Boom. Okay.
You can change...
Oh, almost forgot. The output. Nope, that's not the output. That's the output.
You can change it.
See, it's adding that space, but it's kind of, just, it's mono. I don't know how else to say it. And then
You can change it.
here's the stereo slapper.
You can change it if you.
You get a little bit, you can dial in a little bit more of that kind of amphitheater type deal.
You can change it.
Although you can with this one too,
You can change it.
you can add more time.
You can change it.
But you can hear the difference there. And they're both available to you. So why not both? They're both useful in different times. So there you go. That is the Quasar Stereo Slapper. Get slapped. I'm excited for it. I'm stoked on it. And you should grab it from djquasar.com. Just go to my download section. I'm happy to have made that for you, and I'm happy to have made this video for you. That's it. That's all I have to share with you. If you if you found this video to be helpful, please do hit the thumbs up. If you find my channel to be helpful, please do subscribe. I'm keeping this train rolling just for you, and for me. This is fun, and I'm loving making these combinators. I'm loving making music, and I'm loving being here with you. So I'll see you soon.